Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock. Let's go over what is happening in a pretty wild day towards the end of the day in the market, and I'll give you overall my thoughts moving forward. So as we start off February next week, I'll give you my thoughts. But yeah, as usual, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you do enjoy my technical analysis, my thoughts on the charts, my updates, etc., well, I do update my members every single day the market is open in my YouTube membership. That link, of course, is down below in the description of the video. For just $3 a month, you get access to all my thoughts, posts, updates, mainly on Tesla stock in the first tier for $3 a month. Sometimes other stocks when I see opportunities. Or for $5 a month, you get access to my NVIDIA updates as well, plus the first tier, which I just mentioned, of course, Tesla plus other stocks for $5. Again, every day the market is open as is trading. So definitely check it out if you're interested. But jumping into it, Tesla closing the day down about 1% in the green, closing at $404.5 per share, which, you know, compared to at least what it was at the high of the day, right, definitely gave up a decent amount of those gains. Now, obviously, I want to quickly point something out. Yesterday, I didn't record videos. I am still a little bit under the weather. I did get sick. I still feel a little bit iffy, so, but better. So anyways, that's the reason why there was no video yesterday. But jumping into it, Tesla. So what does this actually mean moving forward for Tesla stock, right? Is this bad? Is this good? Well, the way I'm looking at it is this. So I can't remember if I updated this on the video yet. I obviously updated my members about this, but in my video, I don't think I changed it yet. But nonetheless, I did update my kind of lines, if you will, I guess you can say, right? So, you know, obviously before I had something like this, I think it was with that, you know, breakout retest, which is still pretty valid. You can see we still actually technically came down and retested that that other day. But now I'm starting to look at it more like this, with this line kind of intersecting right here instead. And you can see it actually almost perfectly rejected us at the high of the day today, which is what I was telling my members about. And I was actually telling them when we were pretty much at the high of the day, I was saying how, yeah, it's a good look. And if we can close like this by the end of the day, that's great. But you should be careful because we could experience, which we did, exactly what the bears experienced yesterday on that move to the bottom, which I was still updating my members on, even though I was sick, obviously slightly less updates. But yesterday I was telling my members all about this retest down here and how about 385 needs to hold, and thankfully it did hold. Today we got the exact opposite, right? We needed to pretty much get above and close above, you know, 417, something like that, right? 415, 417, something around there. We couldn't, right? We couldn't hold it, and we did fall into close, thanks to Trump, of course, and his tariff announcement again. So what does this actually mean though, right? So like I said, I did update my lines right now. Essentially, with the way this looks is pretty simple, really. Now, overall, Tesla is still developing an overall bullish pattern. Earnings was almost enough to drop us back down, but we ended up gapping back up, which is obviously a good sign to see. And we ended up continuing to maintain and hold this bullish pattern, which is essentially a massive, you know, bullish, I don't know, pennant, I guess you can say, whatever you want to call it, bull flag, whatever, bull flag, bull pennant, ultimately the same thing. Which is good, right? Now, obviously, we're still kind of in the middle, but we are nearing the apex of it, right? So essentially, the way I look at it moving forward into next week is, well, because we're still in the middle, technically speaking, this does still open up an opportunity for Tesla to make its way down one more leg lower to about $390 per share, which would be a retest of the bottom part of this pennant once again, closer to the end of the bottom end of the Bollinger Band. And you can't really see it because my red line is right over the 50 EMA, but the yellow line over here, if I kind of zoom in, you can see is that 50 EMA, which has been holding us as support for the past 2 days, which is obviously a nice sign as well. So, you know, worst case scenario for now, at least realistically, while still maintaining the bullish thesis, would definitely be a drop to about $390 per share, which potentially can happen, obviously, you know, Monday or Tuesday or something like that. Or the upside, with the bulls want to break and the bears want to defend, sometime, you know, let's say early next week, roughly about 415, roughly, right? That's probably the two most important levels, 415 and 390. One of these levels eventually will snap, and once we get a daily closure above or below one of these levels, though of course I do lean bullish now because earnings is out of the way, which is good, because earnings was that major question mark still that could have definitely ruined this momentum, but it didn't somehow, even though earnings was a miss, which is a good sign. That is a good sign. That's why I have started leaning more bullish now for Tesla. But obviously, until we get an actual bullish confirmation breakout, you know, it can still technically go either way. So watch for that breakout. But again, ultimately, I do still lean slightly more bullish than not overall speaking, because this is technically a bullish pattern until proven otherwise, of course. Even then, obviously, you know, despite it being a bullish pattern, it's still technically not confirmed bullish because you still need that breakout. But the probability is, in my opinion, in the bulls' favor. So yeah, our size looking pretty decent. MACD is looking like it's finally getting ready to curl back up, and it's somewhere, you know, kind of in the middle now, sort of reset, which is a good sign to see. Stochastic is, you know, maybe slightly bearish here, but nothing overwhelmingly bearish, right? Nothing like, for instance, nothing like it was back here, for instance. So it's, you know, it's slightly bearish, but I wouldn't say it's overwhelmingly bearish or anything like that. So we'll kind of see how that actually ends up forming moving forward. But I really think that, you know, when the market is being like this volatile intraday, you know, with Trump, with his tariffs and this and that and that and this, you know, you're getting kind of almost quote unquote random, you know, sharp movements in the market left and right. It's pretty important, you know, when these kind of things are happening, to kind of zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture, in my opinion, of course, not financial advice, you know, and not get lost in that short-term volatility noise when the market's, you know, getting a little bit more of these, you know, volatile movements up and down, right? It's good to kind of zoom out and take a look at the overall picture so that you don't get, you know, distracted and panicked out, if you will, by that, you know, short-term volatility that, you know, we are kind of experiencing in the market right now. So just keep that in mind. That's my opinion, of course, but that's how I'm looking at it. But yeah, looking at options flow very quickly using Cheddar Flow, which by the way is a phenomenal option service. Definitely recommend checking it out. Link is down below. You get a discount actually if you check it out and use my link. So that's pretty cool. Overall, pretty mixed flow, but towards the end of the day, you can see, which is what I really care about, pretty much as the market was dumping. This was bought when Tesla was at 402.59. So, you know, not too much lower than here, but nonetheless, almost a 5 million call above the ask, 300 strike for June 18th, 2026. So it is a bit of a leap, but nonetheless, 2026 did come in, which is nice to see. So clearly someone's bullish moving forward into Tesla stock, but it is very, very out of the, sorry, it's in the money. What I'm saying, for some reason I thought it was way well out of the money. So it is a little bit on the safer end, right? It is a year and a half out. It is, you know, in the money, but nonetheless, 5 million is a decent amount, and it is above the ask. So that's nice to see. And this was happening during that dip that we got in like at 3 p.m. roughly, which is, you know, a good time to see something like that pop out, which is nice. But ultimately, again, not to make things over complicated, not to make things too, you know, confusing. Tesla, by the way, 93 million confirmed bullish flow today, which is a good sign to see. But yeah, not to make things too complicated or too confusing. You know, again, just in my opinion, watch for this kind of apex, if you will, of this bullish pennant, you know, to play out essentially, right? That's kind of what really matters. Weekly candle looks pretty all right. You know, we are still continuing to close below 415, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but, you know, and obviously, you know, we are still a little bit far away from the mean reversion, if you will, all the way down here, closer to, you know, 340 where it's currently at. Obviously, this will jump a bit next week, right? This next week should be probably somewhere in the, you know, mid to high 340s, I would guess at least. But, you know, we are still a tad away, I would say, from that area. So that's probably my main quote unquote sign of caution, just in case, you know, if there's something to be a little bit cautious of and, you know, potentially, you know, I guess put in the back of your mind as a potential precaution. You know, this would be it, right? This would be it. You know, we are still a little bit far away from that mean reversion, but granted, you know, the fact that this pattern is holding and earnings was not enough, even though it was almost enough because we did gap down severely on earnings, like a 6% gap down just for it to be not only bought back up, but even go green, is a good sign, right? That is a good sign. So all we need to do is just have this pattern play out properly, hold 390. And I think Tesla is actually looking pretty good setting into February, which seasonality speaking, February is actually a pretty good month for Tesla stock. Now my chart is freezing a little bit here. Here we go. So yeah, seasonality wise, Tesla is usually favorable in February. So let's see how that actually plays out moving forward as well. But yeah, that's my overall analysis on Tesla stock. So watch for those levels, watch for a confirmed daily close above or below 390 or about 415. And that should give us a, you know, good indication as to what we should expect next. Now, obviously, I forgot to mention, if we do break above 415 and close above it, we should at the very least expect about 440, maybe even closer to 460 as my first main target. On the flip side, a break below about 385 to 390 should expect about, you know, 350s, we'll say, as a downside target, as my main target to the downside. So yeah, those are my main two levels. Let's see what happens. Let's let the levels decide for us. And I'll see you tomorrow or on Monday. Peace.